Good morning. Let's see. There we go. Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you see me? It is time for a little bit of Crush Your Kickstarter in the morning. I'm so glad you're here. So today I want to talk about just a little bit. I don't know if anybody is joining us live today or you're all in the future, but the thing I wanted to talk about today is Kickstarter goals. Ooh, okay. This is something I've been talking about a lot with my clients recently. Is what should I set my Kickstarter goal as? And the answer is complicated. So we talk about this in the course a lot. If you're in my course, you are aware that I want you to look at two things. I want you to look at your budget, and I want you to look at your audience size. So what is the size of your audience right now, and what can they sustain in terms of a ask? Like, not everybody's audience is $1 million audience. Not everybody's audience is $100 audience. So what you're somewhere in between there, and what is it? And then also, you need to ask for enough money to actually make the thing that you're making. But when you're talking about the thing that you're making, I think you should try to break that down into a pretty sleek budget, because the less you are able to ask for, the more likely it is that you're going to get funded. I mean, that's just math, right? If you can make like a budget that's like the bare minimum and then the ideal, just make two budgets, make those side by side, and make that plan. It's like, ideally we make $10,000, but we can create this album or book or whatever with 4,000, 5,000 if we do some things ourselves, or if we decide not to have extra violins on all the tracks or whatever. And the way that you make that determination is through your mission statement. I really encourage people to be mission focused, and think like, what's the real reason I'm doing what I'm doing? Are you making a book because you want to get famous? In which case you should be budgeting money for PR and traveling to networking events and that kind of stuff. Are you making an art book just because you have a bunch of art that you haven't ever collected in a really nice place and you want your fans to be able to buy it? In which case, you don't need that PR stuff, and you don't. The big priority should just be getting everything printed in a book and making sure that the design is really accessible, and all of that. So think about your mission and think about what is the bare minimum thing that you can make that you'll be happy with. And when I say bare minimum, I don't mean like take out everything out that you've ever wanted and dreamed. I mean, take your dream and do the dream that you want, but just think about, like, what are the things that you're paying for because you think you should pay for them, or because you see other people paying for them, and that you actually don't care about or want. Because that happens a lot. People think that they have to hire some producer that costs $10,000 to make an album, when really you could make the same album and sell the same number of copies, just producing it at home. Or people think that they need to hire a graphic designer to do every little part of their project, when some of those things you could do by yourself. Or just figure out, do you need the big name person to design a t-shirt, or could you find a really awesome local artist who is going to really appreciate the funds? And if you paid them half the amount, it's still a really reasonable amount for a t-shirt design, that kind of thing. What can you do? What can you cut down that's not going to make a huge difference? And don't just bring on big name people to your project because you think they're going to bring in an audience, because they frequently won't. So yeah, cut down that goal. The thing with Kickstarter, and it's weird, is that as soon as you launch, people are going to come to your page, and your fans, your super fans, are going to back no matter what, right? They're going to be like, okay, great, a thing I want to support, and I want to get whatever this is. Let me just make sure my audio is working while I'm here. It is. Your casual fans are going to come to the page, and they might think, okay, well, I will back if this meets some of my needs. So is the merch really cute? Is the shirt something that I want to wear? Does the album sound good? Does the book sound interesting? That would be the reason that they would back the project. And then when a stranger comes in that hasn't heard of you, or is a super casual fan who's maybe just heard your name in passing, or met you at a convention or an event, or saw you open for another band, or read a short story, or saw a comic online one time, they want to see a few things. And one of the things they want to see is that they can trust you. Kickstarter, it doesn't have an inherent 100% trust guarantee in the platform. So you need to show the people who back your project, like, yes, I am going to give you a product at the end of this, and it's going to be great. They can't pick up and flip through your book. They can't, hold the product before they buy it. So you do that in a couple ways. And one of the ways you do that is by having a reasonable goal, having a goal that looks like it's going to be met. Having that goal that is low enough that it seems like you knew what you were doing getting into it. It's like going into a salary negotiation and asking for a reasonable amount of money, or going into an investor and asking for an amount of money, that just going to any situation and being prepared with the amount that is reasonable, not just knowing what it's going to cost, but knowing what is reasonable to ask. And that's something that if people go to your page and you want to publish your first ever album, and you're asking for $100,000, even if you show them how you're going to spend all that money, if they go to your page, you're asking for $100,000, it's day 2 and you've only raised $2,000, they're probably not going to back your project, because they're going to say, okay, this person doesn't seem to have the audience to back up what they think they are. So they're a little out of touch. And what else are they out of touch about? And, does this mean that they can't actually do what they're trying to do? So let's try to make that ask reasonable. If they come to your page and you've asked for $2,000 and you've already made $10,000, some people say, well, okay, then it looks like I don't need the money anymore. In a way, yes. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But in another way, and this is I think it's a little bit of an annoying thing about the Kickstarter platform, but this is very true, especially in places like games, technology, products. If the project is far funded beyond what its goal was, that just shows people, oh, this is a proven product. This is a proven artist that everybody really likes. I really want to get in on this successful, amazing thing. I want to be part of this success. Who doesn't want to be part of a great product, a great party, especially when it's art? Like, I can support an independent artist that the mainstream hasn't heard of, and I can be there when they get their big break. Everybody wants to be part of that, and they want to be, and they know that it's successful because you've already hit your goal. That's the goal. That's the ideal. Now, if you are a person and you think, okay, I need $20,000 to make this thing, my audience looks like it's only going to support maybe $12,000, $15,000 if I do all of Laser's weird math. That is not guaranteed math. It's just math estimation that I'm saying, just base yourself on other projects that you've seen, and the size of those audiences and stuff like that. If it doesn't look like that's going to be easy, your goal is not an easy get, but you need it. that's absolutely what you need in order to fund your project. You'll be happy with $20,000 and you won't be happy with any less. Ask for it, because you're not going to get to that 20,000 unless you ask for it, right? If it's far beyond what you think your audience, or if even a little beyond what you think your audience can sustain, then you're not going to get it unless you ask. And that just means that you're going to have, 30 days, 28 days, 21 days for your Kickstarter campaign of dedicated work, dedicated campaigning, dedicated promotion. That's going to be something that you have to work hard at, but that's okay. Like, that's the game, that's your job. You'll want to do a lot of preparation ahead of time. And if you can do that, be building your audience so that it matches up a little bit. I've talked about that a lot in other videos, which is not why I'm not talking about it now, but that's good. But absolutely, if the goal is a stretch, that's great. Take that leap of faith with your audience, and just be professional, be positive. Don't play that negative, like, oh, it looks like we're never going to make it card, because people want to be part of something that succeeds. Like I've been saying, people want to be part of something positive. So give them a chance to be part of the underdog story. And yeah, you may just make it. It'll be amazing when you do. I've seen that happen many times, by the way. I encourage you to bring the goal down if you can, because that's going to make for an easier month for your life. And I think that a lot of people end up, when they crowdfund, they end up giving large chunks of money towards stuff that they don't need. Extra rewards that people would have backed the project without, or paying contractors that they didn't need. But it's, you should totally do the dream. You should totally do the wild thing that you couldn't do without Kickstarter. Just live that party. I think that would be great. Let me think if I have anything else I wanted to say about Kickstarter goals. I don't think so. A couple FAQs that I've been getting recently, and just some advice that I've gotten from the good folks over at Kickstarter. Good times to launch a project early in the week, in the morning. Good time to end a project later in the week, in the afternoon. Good times. How long should your project run? 30 days at the absolute maximum. If you can do a 28 or 21 day project, or in between 21 and 28 days, I really recommend it. It's good for your mental health. Your main momentum on your project is going to be in your first week and your last week. The weeks in the middle are just kind of stress weeks. So maybe avoid those weeks if you can. It's totally fine just to not have the dead weeks in the middle. It's totally okay. But if you can straddle a payday, like a first of the month, that's a really good idea with scheduling your campaign. And yeah, make a really good promotion plan before launching. You know what? I'm gonna link my really awesome crowdfunding promotion worksheet in the description of this video, just in case you haven't taken my class, because it is a 20-page, I think, document of really awesome ideas for how to promote your Kickstarter once you've launched it. It's actually kind of fun to fill out if you like filling out worksheets, and who doesn't? And it's if you do the plan ahead of time, you'll find yourself a little bit more relaxed during the campaign, because once you launch the campaign, at least I feel I've got too much to do, and my brain it turns into a different mode, and it's not as creative. So do a little promotion plan ahead of time. And this has got some timelines and stuff like that as well. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is a little video about goals, and I hope that this was helpful, and I love you very dearly, and I believe very strongly that you can make your project happen. So thank you so much for watching.